Okay, call to order the board meeting. It's 5:30, November 7th. We will begin with the officer reports. The secretary report is first, and she's not here.
We just need to approve the minutes.
Huh?
We just need to approve the minutes, that's all.
Oh, for September 6th.
Mhm.
I see that, yeah. Okay. I hear a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Anybody second? Second.
Do
All,
you have a chance to review them? Are you doing
I think I
it?
read them before when they were,
that's the one that just gave her, right? Yeah.
yeah, they came through with the board packet.
Yeah. We suggested some corrections, which is spellings, right?
It's just like capitalization.
Yeah,
and things, so-
capitalization, so it's right except for,
The content is right.
yeah. All in favor of adopting it? Aye. Aye.
You need to adopt the agenda.
Oh. So, somebody wanna make a motion to adopt the agenda?
Yes, I will make a motion to adopt the corrected agenda.
Second.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make sure I stay on task here. It'll take me a few times, okay. Next thing would be the treasurer. Excuse me?
You seconded it, you didn't approve.
Yeah, we did.
No.
I said a motion. I said,
Yeah, she said a motion, I said she.
I said all in favor.
Not of this one.
It was a second, it was a different
Okay,
motion.
all in
Yeah.
favor for adoption the minutes, September 6th, say
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next is the financial, September financial. Tiffany?
The current assets and liabilities are $39,333.09. There is a current year deficit of $7,864. The grounds maintenance is over budget, $4,339. Utilities over budget, $477, and administrative is over budget, $2,061. That's, unless there's something else you want me to report on?
I do have a question in going over this. This owner, these people are no longer the owners of this property.
So that means we haven't gotten an updated deed.
But the new owners have owned this house for quite a while. They're the ones that keep having the violations. They have the pod, they did the solar, the shed, the window.
I mean, that just means we haven't got an updated deed. I can't update it with, I mean, I can go on and see if I can find the
Share that
deed.
with the rest of us?
Well, I don't know the exact
What account
address.
number is it?
She'll share the actual address. I just know that this is not the owner anymore. Charlotte's house, Charlotte Pearson.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anything for a deed update. Oh, wait, 21A. They're not the registered owner, they just still had credit on their account. They are,
She was on the list for being late.
no, they have a credit.
Yeah, but it drew my attention to it because I knew that name shouldn't match that anymore. So I just wanted to make sure things were correct in the system.
Yeah, this is,
She didn't have a credit. She only had 20 past due.
no, it showed a credit. There's a negative next to the number. It's the Tina Sheets.
Oh, then that's not the right one.
Yeah.
I just know that that's not the current owner of the house. So
01002.
3457.
is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a credit on here.
No, the new owner doesn't have a credit, but I don't know why that's showing up like that, but no, the new owner doesn't have a credit, she does owe money.
Okay, well, that, I just, like I said, I noticed that that wasn't who owned the house anymore, I knew that wasn't, so that's why I wanted to question to
Yeah,
make sure
I don't
that
know
our
why
records were right.
that's listed like that, is that on the one that I sent you?
No, this is from the reports that, all the different reports that were pulled.
Oh, because they
compared and
show the
everything.
entire file, they don't just show arrears, they show anything that's registered, it doesn't have a zero.
You're talking about arrears?
On the-
Arrearages?
Accounts receivable report prior
That's
owner.
arrearages, we're not there yet.
I know, I was just asking her if this name was correct.
Yeah, no, they're
That's all I
not,
was
that's not
asking
the
her.
registered owner anymore.
Do you have any more comments about the treasurer's report that you wanted to ask? Or
I have a
talk
couple of
about it,
questions
or-
about NOLA, is this the appropriate time for me to ask that?
Yeah, it's kinda tied in with violations and arrearages, so if you wanna wait until you get to that, you
Okay.
can. It's
Okay.
all kinda tied together.
All right,
Okay, I guess the social media lady's not here. Is she still doing it or interested in it or gonna?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's doing every other month. Oh, she's here every other month, she said.
Well, okay. Manager's report? Do you have anything?
For October 2022, the budget annual meeting was held 7/27. Draft minutes were completed, proxies collected and tallied, approved ARBs, applications were sent, processed and approved invoices. Financial summary is completed for September. The manual of the mailing was processed. The ABT form, which is the approved budget transmittal, was sent for coupon creation and mailing. I requested the NOLA letter report from accounting. The insurance agent was contacted for the renewal, and the board listing was updated. I was on property on 10/27. I did make a note there that I was not very strict on violations that visit, just because there was so much hurricane debris everywhere. I didn't feel it was appropriate to send, violations for nitpicky things. There are two accounts at the attorney. One account has been issued a lien and one has an ITL on it.
Are those the two that we've been dealing with?
Yeah, the two accounts at the attorney.
The two with the attorney, but the other one, the one that has been issued and the one that has the ITL,
Those
are
are-
they new? Those are not the ones that we've just been dealing with.
They've been on the report for a little while.
Okay, but they're not the two that we've had major issues with?
No,
Okay.
those are the two that are at the attorney.
We'll probably be getting to some more of that when we get farther in. Your completed actions, number 10, contacted insurance agent 4.
Yeah, it's for the renewal, it got cut off. Your insurance renews this month, so.
Submitted, number 8, submitted the ABT form for the approved budget coupon mailing. Because I'm gonna talk about that coupons later, I wanted to know, has that already been done and the coupons are being printed and all that, or did
It's
they
been
get
sent
printed
for
in
processing.
December?
No,
Every year they print them and then they charge us for them in January. That's why I'm asking.
it's in process, it'll be printed, this month and sent out this month.
Well, could
In
we
November.
have that email go out that if we wanna opt out, cause I don't use them, I can just, if I get.
I already sent something
Yeah,
out to
they've already
everybody.
sent it out.
The day after the meeting, I sent it out. You didn't get it? Yeah, I
I
definitely
can't
sent it
remember,
out.
was it was in an email, wasn't it?
Yeah, I sent it out through an e-blast.
Yeah. And just a side note, if you've already opted out before, it's still in there, so you're still.
I've never opted out, I didn't know that.
I was and didn't know it until I went in to look and change it. And then I saw it was and I clicked it and it changed it back and I had to go and change it back.
I'm sure that
again.
you're not opted in to receive my emails.
I'm not,
Do you want me to opt you in?
yes, please.
let's see, this might be a good time to bring up the NOLA. No, let's do the architectural review and number 9 with your manager notes is about NOLA, and I'm gonna talk about NOLA again, about, I have something interesting to tell you. So, let's, do the architectural reviews. I have one I'd like to submit, and I think there's one that you submitted for Linda and Abel, and I vote no.
Yeah, there's two
Your
that I
house-
sent.
Your roof
and
does
then-
not have the shape that the picture has.
Well, if I get those, he called me today, I'm not getting that,
Oh, you're not?
because it's not in, so.
I'm sorry,
You're okay. I'm just saying there was two that I sent over in your board packet, one for Linda and then one for, Lennon Moser, 3472.
let me see, right? Yes, you're right, there it is. Yeah.
So I have to go with this one now, because we didn't
This is
have
the one that we saw in the computer, this is the one I'm looking at, right?
Yeah, it's called Western
This says,
Brown.
this Moser, I noticed that storm damage front door needs to be replaced and painted. What color?
It's
that
right
brown?
there, it's
Is it
Western Brown.
See, I didn't get a paint.
It is, it's on the picture.
Yeah,
Of the door.
Keep
Then
going.
I didn't get the door.
You did.
It's not with the, it's not,
Keep going.
it's not with the,
Any corrections now? Anyway, I'll look at somebody else's, I'm just saying.
Is that the board
It's
packet?
brown.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I'll show
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
it is brown, it's the
I
same
remember seeing
color. She stopped and gave it to me, it's the same color as what the door is now. Everything's the same, except the door's fiberglass, because the door works, so she can't.
Okay, so we're on Lena Mode. Everybody's looked at that. Are there any comments, issues? What I'll do is if y'all don't mind, I'll go around the desk and the table for each one of you so that we only all talk at the same time. If you have any issues? If you have any issues? Okay, so all in favor? Aye. Okay, so that'll be approved. And then this other lady,
When it's on there,
can't make her mind up on what kind
No,
of shingles she
he
wants.
called me today and said he can't get those shingles, so I have to go back to this other shingle. And I did send it, so this is the shingle, it's driftwood. Huh?
It's fine with me. Except,
I really wanted that
you
beige.
submitted a quick little roof that's not yours.
No, I wanted that. I wanted that. It's hard to go on that one, but it wasn't right. You can't get that
Which
shingle.
one of these two produces the original design? Is it this in the board package?
I think he's starting to sign up.
So what are we gonna do with that? Okay?
Oh, sorry, I had one to ask. This is the lamppost, house, car. I went over and talked with them after I saw the violation, and, I went to tell her that we had a notation on there, she needed to replace her lamp, and we had discussed it before, and thought the guy had taken it down on purpose, but then come to find out it was the car. He hid the lamp in the house, so I went to tell her that, we didn't realize the lamp was in the car too, for her to take her time, but the police, she indicated to me that she was waiting on her insurance check from the lady that hit her, and that she had been expecting it Monday, and she did tell me she had got it. And she also told me that she had already contacted the contractor, because contractors are hard to get right now, and she said she was really very surprised she could get it, and the house is not weathered in. So she needed to get it weather tight, so, she went ahead and when the contractor came and sealed in the house and fixed the bedroom walls. But then she brought me an ARV for the wood that you noticed on the house. Because I asked her, is that stone? And she said, no, it was wood, which looked odd to me. But I didn't see any stone laying around there. So she's supposed to paint it the same color as the house, which she didn't give me a color, but this is what it looked like when the car hit it. So you can see she couldn't leave it.
What I'm saying is, she's going, what she has in house going straight across. These were going up, we're supposed to, Arear. So I don't know if she's redoing it the same way, we're gonna redo it slightly different.
Well-
That's gonna be an issue, and she's also gonna need one for the light post, before she puts one in that we don't approve.
I told her she was gonna have to put one in for the light post. I also told her that she needed to give me a paint swatch, which I think I confused that one with this one, and I ended up with none, so we can't approve this.
Just the carpet up.
Yeah. I'll get it. I'll get it. We'll clean that up.
That's the carpet.
Now, as I was saying, she brought me the ARV, but she did not, she gave me a description of the paint, but no paint swatch, so I'm gonna give it back to her and redo it on the next meeting, I guess.
Well, because if she gets somebody to come out and you get it, so send it, and maybe we can do it.
What?
If you get the information from her, oh, just send it to us, we can approve this, if she doesn't have to wait anymore.
Yeah, could not do that. I have a phone number on that. I can't believe it. Well, most of thought that was a swatch.
Somebody refresh my memory, did you authorize that?
We didn't authorize any of them yet.
What?
We didn't
Yeah, we
authorize-
did.
We didn't authorize that one, no.
Which one are you talking about?
For roof.
Oh, no, we did not approve that. Yeah. You have a problem with windows screw? You got a problem? I have no problem. All in favor?
Yeah, you have no problem, one of those other cameras we can't get.
Okay, that's approved.
Sign?
Yeah. That's fine. You have the original?
We don't need originals, we just use the ones there. They're all received by email, so.
Oh, this is one sign.
Have the other things on it?
No.
Do you have problems with the others?
The one other one that we approved, yeah.
I had it right there, one sign.
Been signed?
Here. Sign it. This is the thing, the door.
Give me some, whatever you sign. You think these will? No.
I need one more signature on it.
No, you're usually submitted virtually. You sent me hard copy.
You ready to move on? Ready to move on? All right, let's talk about the violations. I wanted to ask a question, a couple of questions, really. I'm using, one on October 28th. I think the one in the packet might be a few days. But my questions, the things that I pointed out came off the 28th, and that's what I'm referring to. And there may be a difference between that and the third. Because I noticed that some things were pulled off of it. The October 28th was run, and the question about some information being provided to a homeowner was on there. But on the November 3rd, it's not there. And
That was probably on the manager report, not the violation report.
I got it right here.
Yeah, that's the manager notebook.
Yeah, there's a violation. What do you mean it's not?
So
It's the same information, it's just that you put it out as a notebook rather than.
the manager notebook is where I make notes of my communications with other owners. The property notebook is all of the violations that were sent and separate. So they're two separate.
And that would explain why I'm just gonna ask questions.
Look right here, there's no
I understand.
The only notifications you'll see in the property notebook is when a homeowner calls into our community care line. Like when they respond to a violation, they'll call community care because that's the contact information on there, and they'll make notes on the
Right,
violation.
so this, property notebook, it has, the second entry on there.
Mhm.
You're saying that is only there if someone answers to one of your notifications.
So on the property notebook,
Yeah.
yeah. So if someone responds to a violation, it'll have notes on the property notebook, and that's from community care. Any notes I make about a homeowner, they're going to be in the manager notebook.
So the log entries, or this is the manager notebook, and this one up here is the property notebook.
So
So
this
the
one's
property
not
notebook-
this particular one is not straight from you.
So unless there's a note on it, yes, it's straight from me. Because those are violations that were sent. That's my report pulled up violations that were sent.
So do you have on this board packet, you have a property notebook, and then do you have a violation report also?
Property notebook is the violation report.
Where am I missing?
A manager notebook has my manager notes in it. Property notebook is the violation report. Manager notebook is the
Okay.
main note.
Here's a manager notebook. This is what?
Yes,
What
manager
is-
notebook.
It says
What
it
is
right
it?
there.
That's where I make notes of my communications with homeowners.
And this is a property notebook, which is,
Violation report.
okay. I don't need to be looking at the property notebook, it's a violation.
She sends it out separate,
So-
not with the board packet.
Right, so I don't ever put my manager notebook in the
No, I
board
see them,
packet.
yes, I know that.
That's what I sent out on the once
I
monthly.
failed to notice it. I noticed there was a difference,
Mhm.
but I didn't notice
In the name, yeah, I
the
get
name.
what you're
And
saying.
that's why I'm trying to get it straight in my head. So we're talking about the board packet.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's why I was seeing stuff that was on there, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they weren't on there.
I see what you're saying.
And I
Mhm.
was really confused about it. This, Mahoney, Maloney, I don't know, should I use the account for it?
Mhm. Are we talking about the arrears report?
No, this is on your property.
It's
Yes.
he's not-
Oh, I see, okay, yes,
It's not
okay.
correct.
I was confused.
There used to be a ton of
Mhm.
dates and comments now there's only 2.
So, so if they're closed, I don't send you guys all the closed violations every month. And that's because it would be 10 pages long. So these are just current open violations that you guys are seeing.
So if we don't see something from one month to another, because as soon as it's closed.
It's closed.
There's never the close.
Yeah, those ones are never closed.
It's never close.
Well, see, that was another thing. It's not on here.
That's not,
Blank.
yeah,
First page,
there's a whole list of them.
right here, Robert.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that.
I think
I
what
scrolled
it's
down to
confused is
get to
that
it.
he's looking at alphabetical.
No, I scrolled down because I wanted to ask a question about that, and then I just forgot what I was asking.
Yeah, it's in address.
So, she's gonna come up, and the other one's gonna come up when I get to the hearing. So, that's, okay, we talked about the young lady who did the trade. I think that was it, that I had questions on, yeah.
So, I have a question, you sent the one out for over at Fox Court, account 020083. About the vote violation. Have you heard anything back on
No.
that? So it's been 2 weeks, so now we'll be good.
I can send a second one.
It's still there. I went by this morning, I didn't notice. But I noticed it was there Friday.
So 020083, it's the second one on the second page.
That's not strong enough.
No, that's what I sent him.
Since we're on the subject of violations, even after, once the yard really is finally picked up and we do the patrol, how long are we gonna give the people, because that's obviously been sitting there for quite some time and could continue to be, before they were to get a violation for the, the brown grass and things like that,
That's
cause
up
that's
to you
gonna
guys.
take quite a
Yeah.
while to remedy that.
That's up to you guys to give me
Well,
that
we're
direction.
coming into the dry season, so if they don't water it, it's gonna get worse.
Right.
So we need to give them, I'd say, mine's coming back already, mine was picked up last week.
Seeing all of ours, the cul-de-sacs, it's still there and we have no idea how long it will be there, so.
Is it because they're private streets?
You know what, that's what I gotta think, are they doing the private streets? I saw something where,
You gotta get the FEMA, release.
so,
That was coming up, but,
Well, we
you
can
look
wait.
at your,
we can wait.
look at your agenda, you'll see, after we did the arrearages,
Mm-hmm.
down new business, number E.
Yep.
But since you brought it up, I'll tell you, because that's, I just don't want to get all these papers out of the way.
I don't understand.
Michelle contacted the mayor's office, I guess, or you talked to the mayor, I think. And he suggested that we talk with one of the people here at the city and fill out an ROE report, which is, right of entry. FEMA does not pick up debris in private roads. And the cul-de-sacs, 5 of the cul-de-sacs, of course, are private. So we had to fill out a form for the city allowing the trucks that are picking up the debris to go into the cul-de-sacs.
I got a question.
So we did that, and I sent it back to him, and the answer I got when I said, well, what do you think the time frame may be? There's a lot of debris out there, and we'll get to it as soon as possible.
Well, my question-
Today I called, well, let me finish. Today I called and asked about storm that's coming, because someone had called and asked me if we'd heard anything about maybe them, moving a little faster and getting the debris in the cul-de-sacs. And the answer I got was, we're doing the best we can, but we have sandbags for you. So, we've signed all the paperwork, sent it in, it's processed, and what the city does is FEMA will pay the city for the city allowing these people to go on the cul-de-sacs. FEMA doesn't pay it, but they'll pay it to the city. So that's where that's at, and hopefully they'll get to the people.
The question I had was with your, cul-de-sac and issue we've had, what's gonna happen when we get that truck on there? We already had the one that broke one of our spring.
Well, glad you brought that up, because the right of entry releases them of any liability of any damage that's caused on pavement, property, anything. They will not repair anything, so.
But that could happen honestly with the big trucks that they pick up with the city. I'm just not understanding why we have to go this route, because we've had debris like this before,
Yeah.
and we never had to go through these steps.
Because the city's trying to get out of paying for things that they're not responsible
Well, they're wanting to collect from FEMA, and FEMA doesn't pay, but they figured a way to get FEMA to pay.
I don't know how we could get around that. I mean, there hasn't been any new damage on our cul-de-sac in quite some time, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Well, we did
has
have,
the truck been parking there?
No.
That's where we.
But there have been other larger trucks that have come in there,
Okay.
for people having different things done. And of course, by the time you realize sometimes that they're there, you don't have time to say anything, and nothing, I've not noticed anything any different. Because the people across from me had to have a roof inspection, had big equipment that came in, had a tree that, had to be finished cutting up or whatever, it was already fallen, so I didn't notice anything new.
Okay.
well,
And I'll report it if I notice anything.
glad you
It doesn't
brought
matter,
that
we're
up,
not gonna fix
because
it.
on Spring Oak, they went in there and they got that debris, but they damaged the sidewalk. Sidewalks cracked where you could tell where the truck turned, the circle, he's trying to turn, and he ran up on the edge of the sidewalk and cracked it. That's the city's responsibility, it belongs to them. So we lucked out there, and hopefully they won't hit a sidewalk in the cul-de-sacs, run out there with a flag or something,
If I see them, I mean, I'll keep an eye on it, but
because more than likely, if
Can't watch all the
anything, they'll
time.
hit a sidewalk or a driveway and crack it maybe, I don't know, but they did at Spring Oak. And we lucked out there, so it's a gamble. But, the alternative is take all the debris and put it out on the street, where they can pick it up. And I don't think anybody's up to that, we can't even get anybody to help us.
there's some of
Pick
the
up debris in
debris
the
on my
parks or anywhere
cul-de-sac
else.
though that's so large, we don't have the capability of
No.
moving it.
But that would be the only other option you would have, is to get it to the street. So, the way the mayor said, just fill this out, do it, I did, I sent it to them, they said everything was fine, and I thought I'd bring it up tonight. If the board is opposed to them going into cul-de-sacs and picking up the debris, we need to vote on it, and I'll cancel all this. So, anybody wanna make a motion?
No.
The only, if the city's not gonna pick it up, even if we call for special pickups, if they're not gonna pick it up, and there's stuff we can't pick up and move even as individuals, I don't see where
Well,
there's a choice.
I did not have the conversation with him about, well, y'all done it in the past or this or that. My understanding was through him and the lady he sent me to process it, is this is a special situation, evidently they're getting reimbursed from FEMA, so they're like doing us a favor. They're probably doing it other places also, but they're not responsible for damage, and they'll pick it up, and I guess the city's getting reimbursed for it. And just throw out a little a little hearsay, that truck, you've seen that double truck running around? They get $10,000 a day. The workers get $700 a day. So, it's big business.
If we had any damage from anything like that, would our insurance help us cover anything like that?
My understanding is we
You
just
guys
have
don't have,
liability.
yeah, you guys don't have property insurance because you don't really have any property to insure. All you have is liability insurance.
Well, as I see it, the question is, do you want it picked up or you wanna haul it to the street? So, we need to make a decision here to stop this.
I don't think it's, I think it's obvious, to be picked up.
I know some of the cul-de-sacs have everything that they own,
Yeah.
but that, everything that happened in the middle of the cul-de-sac. They didn't put it on their properties. So,
Yeah, but if they come down and circle around that cul-de-sac like they did at Spring Oak, then.
I know, but I'm saying, how would you know how to decipher who did what to make them responsible to move their own debris? I don't know.
Okay, so somebody wanna make a motion to have it picked up?
I'll make the motion that we leave it the way it is and have it picked up, and not do anything.
Anybody second?
Just wait for it to do it, and it's stuck. No second,
No seconds?
all right, so the motion done.
And I'll kill this,
I guess-
I'll kill this thing and you guys don't have to worry about how to get it.
We have no option on how to pick it up.
I mean, your other option would be to pay somebody to do it. Which one other option?
But you understand what the motion was? My motion was that we
Yeah.
have picked up by the government, yeah.
Yes, with this
No,
ROE.
and people don't wanna do that.
Why-
Well, who's gonna pick it up?
I'm just concerned, I'm concerned about the damage the truck's gonna cause like they did over on Spring
All
Oak.
right, but who's gonna pick it up if the government does it?
Yeah, you obviously are gonna have an option here. So,
I don't know.
can you move it out to the street?
I'm just saying.
Can you move it out to the street? Do you want this, well, you don't live in a cul-de-sac, so it doesn't
I
matter.
live in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah, you do,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's 5 other cul-de-sacs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 5 total that need to be picked up.
I'm just
My
saying.
opinion is,
We're just stuck.
it's not costing us a dime to have it picked up, but
Well, he made the motion, if you wanna second it, you can second it.
is it, can I do that?
Like
Okay,
it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, go for a vote.
All for aye, or yea
Aye.
or nay? Aye.
Aye.
I don't see where there's an option.
I abstain.
Okay, so
saying no, but I just
3-1.
I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but
I don't
with
know.
my husband not being
And,
able to move,
Barbara
I
not
can't,
being here,
I
would
have
that be
no option.
automatically considered a vote
She
or not?
voted- she voted
Like it
no.
was when we did elections and stuff?
You got 3.
No, it was
Two,
right
three.
now, it's 3-1.
I know, I just didn't know if, an abstention is different than you're not here.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so that's passed, right?
Mhm.
All right, so,
I just don't know what other options would be.
find some options and
I
let me
know, that's what
know.
I'm saying, I just haven't looked into it. Not my job no more.
Well, if you happen to run across somebody that wants to move it for us for free, let me know. Okay. Now the arrears,
Unfinished business.
we're talking about that in unfinished business, yes. We were just talking about violations and other things. So the arrears, you want me to do this?
I think I can do some of it. I'll probably need a little bit of your help since you've been more involved with this. I noticed that in the month of September, we only had one NOLA letter.
Yes.
Okay, and then going into October, we will have about 12.
You already did, yes.
Right, so are these all new, or are some of these repeated people?
Well, I mean, you can look at them on here, on the accounts on here and see how far behind they are.
Right, but I don't know,
They're sent every new quarter. So, I mean, if they received one, they didn't receive another one.
okay, so these are first time offenders is all I'm
Correct.
trying to ask.
Correct.
Okay, So, how far between does it take for them to get a second one? Into the next quarter, so it's every 90 days?
They're not gonna get a second NOLA letter unless they pay their dues, and then on the next quarter they default again, then they'll get a new one. But if their delinquency carries over to the next quarter, they're not gonna get another NOLA. The intent to lien comes after the NOLA. The NOLA has to be sent before the intent to lien can be filed.
Okay.
I have two of these over here. 010017 and 010031. Both approached me. They have no idea why they're getting this because they never got information on how to pay their assessment. They never got it. So, they don't have the information on
It's
how to send it.
$107 each charge, yeah.
They don't get it when they don't get the information on how to do it. I know the neighbor on the other side of me, he asked me that one day, I went over to his house, I sat down and did it with him. These people, they didn't
Do
ask.
you know what their account number is? What account numbers were for it?
010017 010031. And I know the other, I don't know, but a lot of people, they thought when they moved in, they asked me to sit down and show them how to do it out there.
Send a welcome packet. But it looks like it was rejected.
You send them registered, right?
The welcome.
Certified, certified.
Welcome back.
No, welcome packet.
So we're talking about NOLA.
The NOLA is not censored.
I didn't think they're welcome back.
Because these people said they never got information on how to get to their, to sign in from Century and how to get their accounts and all that stuff. And now they're getting these normal letters and they don't know how they got their stuff. They don't know, they thought Century was gonna send them something, they never got anything. When it's part of our file, when we do the, coupons at the beginning of the year, and somebody moves in, they don't have the coupons, they don't transfer the house.
Yeah, for the most part, and then we earlier, we did have one lease.
No.
Ladies, can you just talk about this for 15 minutes a year, otherwise we're having a private conversation.
I was just asking her if we recently filed this one lien, and she said no, it's an old one.
Well, I'd like to point out that from Dagger all the way down, because my name's on there, that's obviously we have a timing problem with that, from when the people are having the banks spend the money. It seems to be every month we always have this 685, which is
It's just a special assessment.
yeah, which is the special assessment. I think it's a timing problem, because I put mine in on my bank to have it in there by the first, and for some reason it doesn't get recorded. It comes off obviously, but it doesn't get recorded. I think it's probably the same with every one of these other people too. I don't know what can be done, but
So by the time we file the lien, it goes into the next quarter, so they're 90 days behind that point after it's in the letter. It would go into the second, then it goes to the intent to lien.
Yeah.
There's someone on this list that doesn't have, not on this, they're on this list, but not.
So
Let's see,
in that
Madeline.
maybe because they paid it.
They're on the list, but they paid me.
So just because they received a NOLA letter doesn't mean they could have paid after that NOLA letter was sent.
But
list of all.
So these were sent out in September, but.
No.
No, they were sent in October.
This was September, yeah.
There was only
Yeah,
one in
some all the way
September.
back to, so,
How long does it take for us to show that you're paid once you receive it?
24 to 48 hours, depending on how they pay it.
see, this is, why I need that NOLA report.
And did you see the emails today? Like, I don't know where you got that report or who you got that report from. Because
Yeah, they sent me a report of arrears.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that a lack of trying on my part, because I've requested it.
Well, I emailed Ms. Melendez. She answered right back with some names, which was this, same that you had. And so I emailed her back, did you see the copy of the conversation between us? And I tried to explain, and while I'm thinking about it, please tell me you still have that one I did.
I may have it, I don't know. Like I
If
said, I
you
don't
can
keep hard
find
copies. Yeah.
I can copy it and send it to Ms.
Did
Melendez
you get it through email?
from her.
So it may be still in your email.
Maybe it is, I'll check.
Like I said, I don't keep hard copies.
Remember I handed you and said, this is what I'm looking for. You see, this is the point about this, is we have people that have been sent notices of lien, and did you say you wrong?
Notice of late assessment.
Yeah, but it's not like this. It's
No.
not this one.
And when you check it with the arrearages, you say, well, they could deal with the arrearages, but by the time we got that, we sent them the letter, and we were paying $25 for the letter.
Yeah, but so is the owner. So if they're on the
Yeah, if
NOLA,
we collect.
if they're on the NOLA list, but they're not on this list, that means they've already paid it. And even if they didn't pay the NOLA, they would still have a $25 charge on this list. We don't waive the NOLA fees. It's
So
a
if
hard
you go
All
back
right,
copy.
so
look
that's
at
the
the account.
reason that I need that sheet, they have everything broken down completely on it.
I don't know how to
And,
get that.
Look at it,
well,
code
if I can find it.
010031, and see what that was, if they paid that with an override.
010031.
Yeah. Is that electric? It's good out on this sheet, put it on this one.
Ever since this came out, you guys started attaching it
Yeah,
to
they paid
supply.
everything.
And they paid the NOLA.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get that so quick?
It's in their ledger.
Well, so you need the
So
electric
I
cards.
would end up having to go, or she would have to go to every ledger card and see it?
No, but if they had a NOLA charge on there and they now have a zero balance, that means they paid the NOLA charge along with their late fees. That means they paid everything. Or else they would still have a $25 charge on this list.
See, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that original document that she gave me and I gave to you had it on there already. It had the person, had the 70 days. For example, let me ask you a question. How many of these 12 that are going out are 70 days? And how many are first time?
I just asked her this question.
I would have to look at it.
They had it on that invoice, you see. That's why I'm pushing so hard for that.
I understand
I'm gonna see
what
if
you
I can
want.
find it.
I can't request that. Everybody I've asked for that report
Well-
doesn't even know where it came from.
I understand because
That's what
they're
I'm
telling me the same thing.
Right.
But I had it in my hand and you have it in your hand, so we know that's not true. There is a form, but
I
we
get that.
obviously
Yeah.
don't know what to ask for, can't get it across.
Mhm.
But it's an itemized form that, see, we can't. To me, it makes no sense to look at this list, then have to take your arrearage, try to find it, see if they did or didn't pay. You see all the work that's involved?
I
When
understand.
somebody has keyed it in and has it.
I just, I understand what you're saying, but then I don't think you're understanding that, like, if they don't have that $25 charge on here, then that means they can't.
Okay, and I might be,
So all of these
I
people
might
that.
be very wrong here. But you talking about the arrears, right?
Yes.
Have you got one that shows the $25?
So all of these have a $25 charge within them. All of these $685, they're not gonna be sent a no letter for $6.85. So all of these,
So you're saying anybody that's in arrearage has been sent a no letter?
yes. Anybody that's over 30 days past due,
Okay. Now, what about the second letter?
that's gonna be an intent to lien.
How do we know that these names are any of them 70 days?
That they're not 70 days.
If they
past
are 70 days, and you send them another letter, and then you put a lien on that.
So they have to be sent the NOLA, and then 70 days after the NOLA, they can be sent the intent to lien. And then they have 45 days from when the intent to lien is sent to before they can get a lien.
I know all that.
So they will have in next to it, like see on here where it says ATJDM, that means they're the attorney. If they have an intent to lien, it'll say ITL next to it.
I understand, but my question is, where we're falling apart is, are all these names one time, or are they two times?
I asked that question, she said that they weren't.
How do we know?
So they're not gonna be sent in a NOLA twice on the same charge.
No, but how do we know if it's 70 day and you send the second NOLA? Does it show up?
There's not a second NOLA, it's an
Yeah.
ITL, it's an
No, you
intent to
gotta
lien.
wait 70 days.
For the intent
For
to
the
lien.
intent to lien,
No, it's 45 days after that.
no.
I know you have to send two letters.
Yes. Let
When
me
do you
pull,
send the second letter?
let me pull up your collection policy. And we can,
As I recall, the second letter was 70 days. I'm not sure, that's why I'm asking.
Because their name isn't here, so that means they paid it. I don't know where this came from, but from,
No, she said that
if they're not on here, then maybe
if they're not on
okay, so here's your collection policy. After 15 days, they get a $25 late fee. And then once they haven't paid for 30 days, they get 10% interest fee. 15 days, they get a $25 late fee. 30 days, they get a 10% interest charge. A reminder notice is sent at 15 days.
15 days after the 30, so that's 45.
No, 15 days late, a reminder notice is sent. That's just a reminder notice. The NOLA letter is sent at 30 days late. Once they're 30 days late, they get the NOLA letter.
So it's, when you said 15 days, $25 charge.
Late
Then
fee.
that's also 15 days you get the notice?
Yes,
Okay, and then 30 days you get 10% plus the NOLA.
the NOLA, yes.
Okay, now, from the 30-day point, you sent the NOLA, what comes next?
So the NOLA is sent 30 days after, okay? And then 70 days after the NOLA is sent, they get the intent to lien.
So there's only one NOLA letter?
Yes, there's only one NOLA letter.
I could have swore it's two.
No. They get a reminder notice and then they get the NOLA letter. The NOLA letter is required by state statute.
Okay, so 70 days is the intent to lien.
Yes. And then,
Now. Okay. Now, we hit 70 days, and this automatically kicks in and goes to the attorney?
So the intent to lien is automatic.
It goes to the attorney? Or
We
you
do the
guys-
intent to lien.
You do them?
Yes, well, my office does, yes.
So, how do you, just trying to figure the process, we get there, Rocky's got his 30-day NOLA notice, at 70 days, I haven't paid, and you're gonna do an intent to lien. Does it automatically go to you or somebody in your,
My delinquency department automatically does the intent to
and
lien.
how do they know? I'm not questioning how to do it, it's, to me, there's a lot of room for error here. Because, you know, we have a lot of errors on the arrearage list that they have to adjust at time. And I would hate to put a lien on a house in error.
Well, that's just
So
an
that's what I'm
intent
trying
to
to
lien.
figure out the,
Right, so they're just sent an intent lien, which pretty much says, you have 45 days to pay this debt, and if it's not paid, then you will get a lien for Amazon.
okay.
After the 70-day notice of intent, you get another 45 days,
Yes,
So they get 70 plus 45 days, basically, right?
plus the 30, plus the 50.
yes.
No, I thought,
Well, I'm just saying,
I need to take a math class. I thought it was 15 days, and then at 30 days, and then at the same time, at that 30 days, another letter went out. You're saying another 30, which would be 75 days. No,
No.
this,
No,
am I right that it's
No,
15 days is $20, $45 fine? At the 30-day mark, it's 10% interest.
Yeah, they're right.
Is it another 30 days, you said another?
no, the NOLA gets
It's
sent after 30 days.
After 30 days, so, and then you have, from that 30, 70,
Yeah, if it's not paid,
So that's-
70 days after
that's
that,
100 days.
after that, yes.
And then on top of that, another 45,
Yeah,
so you have a total of 145 days.
And then you get, yes, after 70 days, it's intent lien, you get 45 days,
And
and
then
then the notice.
at
That's
the
all state
145th day, you do an intent to lien.
no,
No,
that's, they've already.
you do a lien.
Then I would bring it to you guys and say, do you want to move to, we don't automatically do a lien, we need a board directive to do a lien, because that does need to go to the attorney.
Okay, so, my whole stumbling point was, I thought there were 2 NOLA letters.
No, there's only one.
Okay,
But if they paid, and then they were late the next time, they get another loan letter.
so that means that all the people on this list are new people,
Yes,
because the other 900 we've spent, something like that, between $700 and $900 that we've already spent. We have to personally go in here and try to figure out who's paid and who hasn't.
We don't know.
I know we,
Is that what you're looking at? See
no,
what-
let me finish my thoughts, please. Because on that invoice spreadsheet that you and I both had, it listed people who had paid and how much they had paid. And it was really simple. So what you're saying is, what I'm saying, is if these are new people, we had old people, and only way we'll know is to go to the arrearage sheet and check and see, which she's found 5 on there, and then the past ones, and I think you guys started in June, that's when she put the time to send me those forms, but I thought it was like July when we started. But from June or July to October, we don't know who's paid and who hasn't. See, that's my point, is and the only other way I can tell is to go to the general ledger and see where we had money under how much we had in supplies charged, and then how much went to the balance sheet to go in to the primary checking account.
yeah, I
So
don't
it's
know
hell, it's
how
hell.
to
But
fix
if they're not on
it
the
for
sheet,
you.
if they're not on the sheet, that
Then
means
it's been paid,
that
yes.
they've paid everything, the NOLA and the.
Correct,
Okay.
yes, so if.
Yeah, but there's probably another 25 or 30
Well,
people.
we're not gonna count these guys down here.
No,
Because
we're
these-
gonna count the people in the past too.
Well, then they've paid. If they're not on here, they've paid, she said.
Yes, if they're not
All
listed
right, well,
on here,
go
then
ahead and
they're
check
paid.
off all the people from June.
Because you see, like, they've never paid, and they're on there.
Well,
Yeah.
check the people from June till October then.
If they don't pay,
If they're not here, they've paid.
if they
They're gonna
haven't,
be there as a, they might be in arrears right now and they'd be on there.
no, if anybody that doesn't have a zero balance on their account is on this list right here, this arrears report. So if they have not paid their NOLA fee, then they would be on this list.
There's 16 people here from that Jim pointed out, 16 people up. There's only 13 here. So 3 of them have not paid since way back when.
Right.
There's probably 25 people that have been sent them.
Then that means they've paid
That
it.
means they
We've
paid
paid
it though.
$700 to $900.
But she said, that's why she said they're paid. How do you see where that money, if it comes back? That's a different thing. I don't see that side. But she's saying all those people that were sent those letters have been paid, except for the 3 here that weren't on this list.
Yeah, but I think Rocky, correct me, I hate to only interpret other people's thoughts, but
No, I
what
appreciate
Rocky's saying is there's no check.
Yeah, I
They
can't
just
track it.
disappeared, and we're assuming that they paid. And Rocky's saying there is no formal mechanism to show that they paid.
Right,
Yeah.
there is, but it's on different pages, like it'll be on the general ledger
Mhm,
under supplies,
mhm.
and you have to count the $25. For last month, one time is $25. But to go from there to the checking account, where that money should be deposited, you can't find it.
Okay, so
Now,
we
if it's
just,
$500, if it totals up to $500, I can track it.
Right.
But if it's $25, I can't track it,
Three
or
people at the
75,
same
or,
time, it'd
yeah.
be 75, and you wouldn't, yeah.
But I had a spreadsheet, and this is the issue, I had a spreadsheet. They, I guess, accidentally sent to me. Had everything itemized, every person, the amount owed, when they paid, and I could cross-check that to the bank,
Mhm,
you see, and see that we did receive it.
right.
Not that I don't suspect anything, but to follow the money. And I gave it to her to see if she could get, Miss Melinda said she'd put it on the revenue and expense as a line item.
Mhm.
She never did. So I said, here's the sheet, will you give it to her? And since then, we can't get anybody that can pull that particular form up. If we had that form, we could track every person, dates, everything. It would be so simple. And that's where the trouble comes in, and we may end up having to do it, like she's doing it. But that takes a lot of labor and hours to do.
May I just ask a quick question? Just on one of these reports that I was looking at in the past, for someone who owes 21 cents, would that generate a NOLA letter?
No.
It would not?
No.
Okay. I just didn't know if it had to be
What
a
is the
certain
threshold?
dollar amount.
their balance has to equal 30 days, so it would be at least one quarter due.
So
of
$70
dues.
or
Yes,
more?
yes.
Okay, I
So
just wanna make
They
sure I
have to be
understand.
30 days late, 21 cents is not 30 days late.
Okay, like I said, I'm just trying to learn.
What if it
Alright.
was 30 days late? Would that generate a NOLA
Yes.
letter for 21 cents?
No,
Okay.
no,
You're saying it
because
has to be $70, is that what you're
it
saying?
So that's what she
has
says.
to be a full 30 days late, so if it's 21 cents, that means they paid within the last 21 days, or 30 days, that means they paid something. Even if they just didn't pay it all, they left out 21 cents.
We're not sending one for their late fees. We're just sending it for their fees.
No, yeah,
Okay, or the interest, right? So if they didn't pay the interest, which would have been 21 cents, we're not
Right.
sending them one for that. We're just sending it for the fee that we didn't pay.
right.
Well, I'm gonna still push for that form, but I will say that the arrearages are looking a lot better. So the NOLA's working, as long as we can just figure out if we're getting the money back. Were you gonna do the, how many and so forth, or you want me to do it while
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
on the arrearages for, keep in mind, this is, September's, this is run. There was 12, excuse me, there were, I think this is the wrong sheet, but I'll just do
It was
it.
27.
There was 2 people
I know which one you're talking
totaling
about.
$6,236. That's the two people that we talk about every meeting. And I wanted to ask about 010033. They're owing 2131.35, but it used to be a lot higher. And I'm assuming that that was adjusted after the court date.
Mm-hmm.
We went ahead and we had no choice because the judge said,
Take them.
okay, and so that's, I'm correct when I'm saying that's why it's been adjusted due to the decision of the court.
Correct.
Okay. And then, of course, I wanted to ask both, I know we ask every time, but have we put a lien on these two
Very few
properties?
have active liens.
We do have those liens, because you know, the other one is going to go into bankruptcy and be taken.
Yeah, before they go to this attorney status, they have liens on them, and then they go, and then they're at attorney status.
Who actually has that lien? Or is it just computerized, or how do we know? Should we have it in our,
My delinquency department would have it, and your attorney has it.
okay, I would just ask, would you please make sure that 030131, we do have a lien?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next question, I think I answered it, I asked before, but I can't remember the answer. If we did if we did a lien
Mm-hmm.
on, say, the current balance,
Mm-hmm.
and 4 months from now, the balance is higher, can we do an additional lien, or we
It
can't
follows it.
add a lien, a second lien?
No, it follows it. It's a
It gets
lien.
larger with,
Yeah.
okay, so we don't have to worry, as long as we know we got the liens,
Yeah.
we know we'll collect at the time somebody buys it.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question on that one, 003133?
Mhm.
It went to court, we never heard back from that. She kept asking for a payoff.
Mhm.
And how many more payoffs can she keep asking us to, I mean,
I
'Cause we
I
get-
did request an update, and they sent me a copy of their log, and there was no updates on it. I'm trying to find it.
well, at this point, I don't wanna, I personally would say, forget it, we wanna go back and put our fines on there, because this is crazy. It's been asking for a payoff and not doing anything.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So let's go back and put our fines
that's a
back
good
on.
question, is what, she was given a tremendous amount of leniency, and she's still not fulfilling her end of the bargain.
Right.
What other option is there besides going back to court again, and maybe the second time, we'll lose everything we invested?
I'm trying to pull up the thing right now, with the updates on there.
Oh, she was given leniency by the court, not by us.
Yeah, he threw out all the
He
fines,
threw out the
everything.
fines.
This is what you're up against sometimes with
Yeah.
people who know how to game the system. You get a
Yeah.
very pro-tenant judge or pro.
And she was supposed to make some payments,
Yeah.
and she hasn't paid anything, and now she wants a deal again.
Right.
She keeps asking for the payout, so every time
And
she asks for a payout.
and whoever it is
extends it.
realizes they got a judge that's sympathetic, it's like a divorce case, you
Yeah.
get a judge that's sympathetic to a woman or whatever, and they know how to game the system. It's a rough situation.
So I guess the question is that, okay, she got a decision, right? But she didn't live up to the decision that was made. What's the,
I thought when I spoke to the lawyers at that time that was gonna put on there, if she doesn't go back, then we're dropping.
There's been a
we're
hearing
dropping
filed.
the deal and going back for the full deal.
So here's what the update is as of 10/25. So 10/21, they emailed the homeowner last and final attempt to coordinate a hearing. 10/25, they scheduled a hearing on portal, prepared and file NOH. I'm not sure what that means. Notice of hearing. So,
who is the attorney? So
so
according to
they,
this, she had a hearing on the 21st of October?
no, they scheduled,
notified her.
they scheduled the hearing on 10/25, so I don't know when the hearing's for. They don't give me that information, they just said that they scheduled it.
Can you find out what happened?
Because that is for the amended motion for default final judgment, cause they defaulted on what they were supposed to pay.
Well, when I spoke to you about it, I said, well, if she's not gonna do it, if it defaults, and we don't get anything, can we go back to get our full amount that we requested,
Right.
is that?
That's
no?
what the attorney's going to try for in the hearing. Cause that's what, I relayed to them.
Well, you only get information if you ask for it from them, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, well, they
They don't
send me,
send
they send me the monthly updates, but, usually it's just that, filed NOH, whatever. So if I want more information, I have to go to them and ask for it.
Does anybody know what the sob story is? Because the judge appears to be very lenient, so.
I don't know if the sob
That's-
story is very
Liberal judge.
irresponsible.
No, it's common. They're never on the HOA side. It's very common. They always take the homeowner side and not the HOA. That's why this whole NOLA thing, it's hard for
Oh, it's a nightmare.
HOAs,
Yeah,
it's
that's what we gotta live
against
with.
them.
And it's quite a bit of an expense that we're supposed to get back, but I can't figure out if we do. I know we've got some, but I don't know if we've got it all. And it could be there and we just don't know it.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason that in companies that operate with a profit, you have the write-off because it's just not worth sometimes, you just see this.
Well, the legislature said we have to do it.
Exactly,
so-
but with us, it's not, not an option.
All right.
So that's really an expense that should be considered in a new budget next year, is NOLA letters and the expense to us for that, because we have to pay it out.
I think we did some, but not, I don't think we did enough. So is that, what about the other one that's, is it 131? Is that,
So they have the same thing on theirs. On 10/6, they scheduled a hearing on benchmark, prepared and filed notice of hearing, and sent it to the homeowner. They asked the judge to confirm we are on the docket for that date and time. I don't know what date and time it is, it doesn't say, but they scheduled it.
we don't know.
We've got a court date for that?
Yes, I don't know what the date is, but they scheduled it.
Anybody want to take bets on it?
What happens if they don't show up again? How many times do they not show up on this?
And that would be an attorney question, I don't know.
Let's find out.
Usually it's 3, but a judge,
Well, let me give you some. He charges $220 a day to rent Airbnb. That's $1,100 a week. A $200 cleaning fee, a $184 service fee. So for a week, it's $1,485.
Well, we've got
And it's not paying anything.
The city does not have anything about ordinance, county does.
Yeah, I know, we can all do that, but that's why I say we need to make sure we got our lien on there because this guy's gonna walk away.
The lien was
I'm
placed
shocked.
on that property on,
does the attorney have the information you just said, Rocky?
I doubt it.
If that'd be nice, to bring before the judge, if he,
I did send that information to
They
them
sent
on the
it out to
Airbnb,
them?
yeah. They
Send
said
the
they,
dollars amounts and
Yes.
how much he's getting a week.
yeah.
you have to hope that.
The lien was placed on August 2nd, 2019, and it doesn't expire until 2025.
Well, we're coming up close on that, then.
Oh, they expired.
Yeah, but there's no activity on them.
Well, you hope that the
What considers
judge
it
would react differently. Maybe
Um,
if the attorney
I-
get across to him.
again, that would be an attorney
client's
question. I have
claim
no idea.
for her. Then
I
they
don't,
get angry, then they come down.
really get involved in the collection.
It's like when the, judge, you come before a judge and you get your probation.
Oh, wait,
and
here.
2 weeks later, you're back again and he throws a book at you.
On that one, the hearing is scheduled for 12/7 at 10 a.m.
Where?
And the other one is January 4th at 9 a.m.
That same lamp. Do you happen to know, just curious, do they get the same judge, or does the same judge follow that file, or do they not get different judges?
I would think that the same judge stays, but that's usually how court cases are.
He might be a little upset that he comes back in front of him,
That's usually how they are.
and that she hasn't done anything she's supposed to do. Anyway, back to that, if those two were paid, we would be, I believe, less than $1,000. Okay,
Yeah, they're the big, they're two of the big ones.
let me pass this around. Next item is, reserve funds. Go for 22. This is pulled right off the, balance sheet. Students, you follow me. If you'll look there, the operating account, you see that's the first header there. The balance there was 690456, and this was in September. Today, where's that? Balance. Check the balance today. Today it's 16,124.43, okay? But you gotta take roughly 12,000 and some change. I think it's 12,490 is what's in the reserve, the repairs. 12,149.56. You see the SA repairs at the top header? So if you take the 12,000 off the 16, we've got $4,100 in the operating account right now. Now, there's been some bills paid out for November. But I went back to January. Well, I guess let me preface this by saying at $6,900 at the beginning of the month, and we're pushing 47 to anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000, and sometimes higher on operating expenses. You can see, and keep in mind, we're going to have coupons, price for coupons coming out of this. We've also got some trees we're going to have to get removed. We're going to run out of money. So, you remember back when we cut the trees, we had $3,800 that we paid out of the operating fund to cut trees. I want to move that money out of reserves, which is where we had it, back into operating. We had moved some money before. I believe it was, we paid $700 to $800 for NOLA expenses. Now I'm talking about, let me stop jumping around, let me just tell you this. In January, we had $20,148 in the bank, in the operating. Part of that money was special assessments. February, we had $19,002. March, we had $20,002. April, we had $13,989. That's because we paid $20,000 for the CIP line. That's the drop there. In May, we had $10,912. In June, we had $10,672. We did a $1,300 tree, a total of 2,513 trees. We transferred some money over out of reserves. In July, we ended up with 7,883. We had $3,800 in trees that we had to pay for. August, we had 6,000. September, we have 69. And today, we have $4,100 in operating. If we don't transfer that money out of reserves, that 3,800 to bolster the money in the primary operating, we're gonna go over, we're gonna bounce the check. We've got coupons coming, we've got some trees we got to take and get taken care of. BrightView has got some repairs that I'm gonna talk to y'all about, which is about $200. But you can see we're in trouble. In the reserves, we have $11,242. And I'm asking, as previous treasurer, I didn't want to put this on her, to transfer $3,800 out of reserves.
3,800 transfer 3,000. There you got 2,000, then you got 3.
Yeah, I said originally 3, and then when I got to looking at the dollars, now, think about that, and I thought of another idea. I say we need to transfer, that's what it's in there for, we put money for emergencies like that, we spend a lot of money on trees, we need to bump this back up to where we're around 10 to 12,000 a month on our balance. But this thing passed with the increase, but it doesn't start until January. And I'm afraid that some extra bills are gonna come in, i.e. the coupons. We could wait and start waiting for that to come in and bolster us up a little bit and take the chance not to bounce anything.
You won't get charged for the coupons until January. We charge, for 2023 coupons, you get charged for 2023.
Right, but we have to have money in there for January. So if the bill comes in January and it's debited for January, we're not gonna have any money to operate on. If I recall, I could be wrong again, didn't we pay $2,000 for coupons, mailings, the whole bit? Maybe even 25, I don't know, there's so many numbers in my head, I can't remember. But anyway, you get my point. And I guess what we have to decide is, you wanna do 38, you wanna do 3,000, you wanna do nothing. But right now, today, we're the lowest we've ever been since I've been on the board in the checking account.
Can we tie the checking into the reserve account?
Excuse me?
Can we tie the checking into the
No.
reserve account
It's
so
a
that if the checking account gets out of whack, we don't bounce a check?
We would never write checks that would bounce. We
Okay.
would never do that. We would never write checks that would bounce. We would just not pay the bill if it came down to it.
No.
What you'll go into is what we call cash poor,
Right.
and so we'll go into a separate queue for me, and I would have to go in and approve every single invoice before it gets paid, including utilities. The regular monthly things that automatically get paid, I would have to go in and separate it and say, okay, do they have enough money for this? That's what I would have to do. I have several associations that do it. It sucks. Try not to get it.
Well,
We don't wanna do that.
I understand,
So
but
I'm saying that we need, the reserves are there for us to use.
We can always take the money after January if we need to put it back in reserves.
Right, and
Well-
remember, you guys are contributing to the
Yes,
reserves, all
we
your
are
late fees and
contributing.
stuff are going into
but
this.
January's
Late fees and
money is-
closings are all going into reserves. And I personally would not have a problem if the treasurer came up and said, okay, we've got this extra money now, let's transfer some back to reserve. we can transfer back and forth.
Just let me get a fully understanding of the picture now. You're still getting this, I call it PVD, the $7 a month on the special assessment, all right? And that will continue. Now, the December, the payment that was made up to January was under the old building, right? When does the new fee take effect?
January 1st.
Yeah.
January 1st.
That's, the special assessment fee did not change.
So,
So
okay.
what's
That's the same since $7. Then it's changed quarterly.
If we assume everybody pays. Tell you what we do.
Well, I see no downside if we don't need it. We can always transfer it
$21.90.
back.
We'll get $2,190 extra in January.
Well, let me ask you this,
But-
is the reserve account interest bearing or high interest?
No, we don't need a lot.
All right. So, I mean, what's the downside in transferring and then, if we don't need it, transferring it back?
So you can't
There's-
commingle funds though. That,
We
cause,
can transfer where we paid out.
so what, yes, so what I can do is, cause the tree invoices are coded to the operating account. So what I can do is I can recode those to the reserve account. And then what will happen is your reserve account will owe your operating account, and then that money will be transferred back to
Well,
the
exactly. What would have been ideal is that when that bill came in, you just took it from reserve.
Right.
Hey, that was the ideal thing, but that's not what happened.
Right.
And that dropped us $4,000 in our balance. And then we also had, what did I say it wasn't even good? The NOLA came in. And it's between 700 and 800 without these other charges that we're fixing to get, $25 charge. So, what'd you say, 10, 12?
Normal charges? Normal charges.
See, that's like almost a hidden fee that we don't know about until we get it. That's why I'm so intent on
Well,
it.
this to me, Rocky, I mean, I hate to belittle it, but it seems to me like the national debt limit. You know, I mean, it's a big argument over the money we already paid, you know, it's got to be paid. So if we transfer $4,000 or whatever we gotta do, let's do it. I mean, you know,
That's,
you know, that's, whether we debate
That's
it,
what I was
Yeah,
getting
well, it's not
at.
necessarily a transfer, she's gotta be over
whatever, what's the procedure?
well, we need, well, listen, let me ask you, we've already paid that. So with what you're doing, is that gonna move that money back over into operating?
Yes, like I just said,
That's what
I'll
we need.
recode it, and then your reserve account will owe your operating account, and then it'll be moved back over, you know. So pretty much your reserve account will pay your operating account.
Okay, so, let me go to each person and ask you, what do you think?
Because we can always put it back.
3,800, or should we
Well, I don't know
do
if
4,000?
we're not gonna be able to put it back,
You're not gonna need to put it back, that's what your reserve
because
account
it's
is.
paid, we're just paying the tree thing, it's just, we already
Right.
paid it, we're just
That's
replenishing what we
right,
paid, we're not putting it back.
but we can, if we had extra funds,
Move some.
transfer it over to
Yes.
rebuild it,
Yes.
which we need to. You see what happened this year with trees.
Mhm.
We need to have that money. We're getting the closings, we're getting the interest, we're getting the violation,
Fines.
the fines are all going to reserves. That's why our reserves last year, the exact number's not right, but it was somewhere around 8,000. We built it back up to 13,000 with the closings. We really did well with the house sales, and it was building it back up. And I know it was over 12,000. And so we should have used the money to pay, because that's what it was there for, and that's why we're down to a very dangerous balance in checking, so,
And a storm is coming.
yeah.
My thought is, yes, let's,
we're
So
talking-
do you know what
That's
I
we're talking
wonder?
4,000 or we're talking whatever the invoices are, what?
What does it leave our funds for the trees, cause isn't that a line item in?
Yes, so do you know what I wonder what is happening? Because those NOLA fees are late fees, and we're having all the late fees transferred to the reserve account. So I'm wondering if that $25 fee that they're paying back is being transferred to the reserve account.
That would be nice to know.
Mhm.
So I need to get with Geraldine and ask her if that's included in the late fee that's being transferred.
And that would answer my question as to where the money's going.
because I wasn't seeing it.
I didn't think about it until now, because, yeah.
So if we take that money, cause it has to come from the line item and don't we have certain line items?
Yep, so you have a reserves, which is your hurricane damage and repair. You have an entry gate reserve line item, you have irrigation reserve line item, and you have a playground reserve line item.
So we don't have them for trees.
There would be
Yes.
hurricane damage and repair, I would imagine.
Yes.
It would fall under the same thing.
We got enough in that line item?
There's
Okay, that was
$6,200,
all
almost
I said.
$6,300 in it.
Okay, you say you would be for it.
I would be for it, $4,000 at least.
Yeah, cause I'd hate to get in a situation, so
I
yes.
just wanna make sure there's
So,
enough in that line
So
item.
we need a motion.
I make a motion.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next one is, and you can see on the same sheet, the SA repairs. Our balance is $12,149. I suggested a payment of $10,000, which would leave us a balance, and these are not exact numbers, okay? They're close, of $11,745 left owing to CIT. And I wanna ask each person, and after we finish, I want you, Tiffany, to give me your thoughts on this. I wasn't sure, I'm not sure, we have $12,149, we pay about $641 plus 70-something dollars. It's, around $700 and something dollars, and then generally, I need to bring my, it's generally around $950 by the time we're finished paying CIT and Century. I didn't know whether or not we should pull $10,000 off that and leave a balance of $2149. If that's enough, that's 2 months. That's 2 months of a payment, and we're receiving payments monthly. It's not an account that we are spending money out of. It belongs to CIT, not us. So my thought was, it's $2,100, which right now this is September, so we have October and November. It's probably higher than that, the funds that are in there. Can you pull up anything? Do you have October?
So as of,
No, you wouldn't have November, of course.
well, your
October.
balance sheet, your current balance sheet
For October?
for November, your current live balance sheet
Okay.
for the special assessment, there's $11,406 in there.
Okay, so see, that kinda, well, the payment came out.
Yeah.
Payment came out, and special assessments collected hasn't been deposited. And that's what I was worried about, is that difference between when the funds went in and when the funds went out. So that would not be enough to keep us going. So let's get down to about $8,000 and make an $8,000 payment. That leaves us almost $4,000 in the account. Remember, nothing's coming out except for once a month. And we're collecting at the same time. So $4,000 would be fine to leave. To me, I can't justify why we'd wanna have $12,000, $15,000, $16,000 sitting in an account that we don't use at all, and we owe the bank, and we're paying interest on it. To me, we should pay it off as soon as possible. So I agree that we can't do the 10, but I think we could do at least 8.
I'd like to see us save a little bit more in that account, because now that we're coming up in January and we're changing our HOA assessment, I wanna make sure that all the payments are gonna be put in, cause now they're paying the special assessment and more money in the their HOA. So I wanna make sure that they're paying that before we deplete, so we have enough money to pay monthly.
What do you think?
I see what she's saying.
Do you agree with her?
I'm not saying anything at this point. I see what she's saying to make
Okay.
sure, even though we can't use that money for anything else, she wants to keep it a little higher.
Just to
I
pay-
agree we should pay a big chunk,
Mhm.
but I see what she's saying, so I think we should find a way to compromise the number.
What
I
do you
wanna
think?
see
I got
something.
2 questions, or make a decision. One, what are we paying monthly on that? Or are we just when we make payments whenever we want to?
No, we pay, for some reason, my computer's locked up, I've been trying to get it. Hang on, now, I'll tell you exactly what it is.
It is $742 a month.
That's right, but then we pay you guys,
Yeah. Service fee.
I think about $140-$150.
That's for your special assessment fee.
Right.
Right, and then we also pay the interest payment,
So it's
which is,
700.
it's 600 something plus the $70-something interest the last time, yeah. So,
Looks like
Well,
$900, say $900.
All right, say 900.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
My
right.
second question is, they say the money cannot be used for anything else. Is that
No.
true?
yes.
That's
Yeah, you
only
can't
for
be
our
You
borrowing.
took a
special
loan out
assessments.
for
understand.
a specific
I understand
thing.
that, but I'm saying, is this money in there? You can't temporarily dip into
No.
it
No.
and replenish it.
No,
So
Can't use it.
basically, there's no advantage to us in keeping the money there.
no,
Okay.
except
saying
for
keep it in case they
making
don't-
sure you got enough to make the payments.
Right.
So, yeah,
Say
so
like
what's your
$6,000
thought on that?
anything.
My thought on that is to pay as much as we can then.
Okay, and you want to have
I wanna have a cushion in case we don't get those, because we have an increase, now people say, hey, now I gotta pay this, I gotta pay that, I can't afford it. So then if we don't have
Well-
enough people coming in to pay it, I don't wanna be stuck by the bank. I would
Okay,
pay monthly.
so put a number what you'd like to see repaid then.
I don't know the numbers though.
I just
If
told
we do
you.
4,000, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna leave us 4,000, I'd like to see probably, that's only 4 months worth of payments if they're late.
Yeah,
And so.
I don't
we
think
need a
all
couple more.
146, which there are some that are paid off.
Yeah.
And we also have some that are sitting there to be pulled out, just like the special assessment. I mean, just like your regular assessments are, the money's sitting there, and they bring it out and apply it. I find it hard to believe that 100 houses are gonna quit paying their special
And if it
assessment.
wasn't for the new increase in the HOA, I wouldn't have a problem.
Okay, so
But it's
you're,
just-
what do you think then? Tell us what you think. Give us an amount.
I say if we keep 6,000 in the account, maybe
Okay.
instead of the 4.
I think we should pay 8,000 out, which leaves 4 months payments, 4 months collections. So we got Michelle that wants what? How much do you wanna pay?
I'm trying to figure out what half of this would be, like if we took half, we spent half.
6,000.
Okay. I would say a minimum of 6,000 is what I'd like to see be paid out. If we could come to a compromise with a number that everybody's putting out there, but I would like to see at least
Yeah.
half of that money paid
I
back.
think 8, I think your number's on the target.
And you want 4, 6, what'd you say?
Well, I want 6 held back,
Okay.
6.
What's your opinion, Tiffany? No, honestly, I'm asking your opinion based on information you have. You know it's special assessments, you know it's not our money, you know it belongs to the bank, but I don't wanna pull so much out that we, hurt.
So regardless
I
of
think
how
we're
much,
split here.
of how much you pay, if you were to pay right now, there's still gonna be a $750 payment due.
Yeah, it's up till it's paid.
Right. So, I would definitely recommend, probably leaving at least half of that in there for a cushion.
Okay, so we got 2 for half, and
My vote obviously does not
No,
count,
yours
I
is
just my
2
recommendation.
for half and 2 for
Listen,
8.
we can always revisit this the next time and transfer more the next
Yes.
time. So until
Yes,
this
you
year
can.
is over, let's just pay half.
You wanna, so you will, I'm not sure about the protocol here, but you wanna table it, and revisit it in January?
No, I say we pay something, but let's divide it in half. Let's take this account and pay half of what's in there and leave the other half as a cushion, and we'll revisit it at the next time it's time to
Right,
transfer
one question
money.
before, how much does it cost us to pay them? Because sometimes I see these fees
I don't think it
for
costs anything.
transfer fees and all this stuff, and nobody can ever tell us what it's for. Is there another expense to paying, whether it's $1 or 10,000?
I mean, they pull the money themselves, CIT does.
Yeah, but we can
So-
make a lump payment.
Right. I would have to,
Transfer fees or,
When we make this payment, are we making it on the principal or are we making it on just the payment?
it gets paid on the principal.
principal. Your interest rate drops every time. Of
I'm
course,
trying
you
to
still
go
got
back.
you still got the fees for every house that isn't gotten paid.
If we pay 8, that leaves how much in there? 4?
If we, okay, but if we take this 11
That's a form of cushion.
I'd like to see 6.
And then we're still getting around $1,000 in fees every month for this. So I think 8 is a very reasonable number.
$11,406 should be quoted that's in there right now.
Yeah, but
If we divide it in half,
the collections have been clear. You would just figure 12.
okay.
So, you know, you don't want to pay
Okay,
6.
but it's 5703 going by the number she reported to us tonight. So could we compromise on at least
What are we
6,000?
compromising on?
How much we're leaving in?
No,
in
no,
the-
I don't, I'm not, it's a
He's
rhetorical
trying to
question,
make
I'm
a
sorry.
logical
I mean,
argument.
there's a reason for a compromise. My point is, if we pay the 8, we still have a 4-month cushion, and we're also collecting around $900 a month with the,
No, we're
things. So I
not
think
collecting
we're
that.
What do you
We're
mean?
paying that, that's our
We're also-
payment.
No, you're still gonna be collecting the $7 a month from the people.
That's not much money.
Well, it's $1,000, isn't it? Or 900?
Some of it's already been paid, so I don't know how
All right,
much we actually.
So let's say we're gonna collect 700. Would that be a reasonable amount?
And well, where we're getting off base here is you have to understand that there is money being paid every month for the special assessments. There is also money that has already been paid, and it's in a reserve over here. And every month they move a percentage of this over to the special assessments, and they also take in the payments that come in and apply them. So it's not a matter of, well, you're gonna run out of money. You're still collecting money from both sides. So you could theoretically take 11,000 and still have the money. But that's where.
I'd say, I
yeah.
think 8 is being very
Yes,
conservative. Okay?
8 gives you 4.5 months without collecting a dime.
Fine.
And we are collecting.
Okay,
And we have money already in there.
Right.
Okay, so Linda and I are thinking more about the 6,000. You guys are saying
I wanna keep
8,000.
6,000 and they count just for 6 months worth of.
Just to make you
Well,
feel good.
But it's still gonna be a little less than that, because if you divide it in half.
Whatever it
Keep
is,
in
so,
mind,
so
you-
instead of the 10, you put in, you know,
It has nothing to do with that.
no, well, this one, because you wanna take it, you wanna pay only 4,000 in there. I would like to see 6,000. Just a comfort, it's just a comfort that
That's why it's wrong.
we're not, just in case all of a sudden we get a revolt and
We're
people aren't
almost
paying.
finished if we could make a decision here, so.
Well, we have 2 and 2, so it's a
All right,
moot point.
so-
We can't go anywhere unless
So-
we come to a compromise.
Yeah, we don't have Barbara, so let's table it. Or I recommend,
But can I make a suggestion, not to interrupt, but I'll say it quickly? Even if we agreed to transfer half of this, it's better than nothing going at all. And we're tabling it for another
Sure.
how long?
if we can agree to 6, I would rather see 6.
When will we revisit this again? When will it be time to revisit this?
Well, I don't really, as treasurer, I followed the numbers,
Okay, but I'm asking so I can learn, because I don't know, this is a learning curve.
Every month on the balance sheet, it gives you what your repairs are. And you can tell by other pages also how much exactly is being transferred back and forth. But,
I don't know the numbers well enough to understand all that completely, so I'm learning.
well, that's $12,000 that's sitting there that
How
we
much is
cannot
it,
touch.
and how much is it costing us every month when we don't pay this bill?
$900.
$900 a month in fees and interest?
No,
It's not $900 a month in interest.
no, it's what we pay, that's what we pay.
It's like
monthly.
3 point
Payment
something
right now is
percent.
641, 642, something like that, and it's like $60 to $70 interest.
No,
I
but I'm
think the
saying,
last
what I'm
interest is
saying is,
71.
there's a cost in not paying this off, 100%,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
What
based
is
on,
that
it's
cost?
based on the balance.
3.95
What is that
percent.
cost?
The interest is based on the balance.
I mean, that has to be taken into account too.
And it doesn't, the balance, the interest changes. It's smaller as you pay.
Of course.
But it's not like a great deal of money. The question is, do you want to get it paid off sooner or not? That's really what we're talking
See,
about.
I'm not from the old school that says Visa, I'm dead. I'm not going to hang my head in shame. If I'm getting money at 0 interest rate, I will never pay it off. I'll drag this thing out forever. My point is there, what is the cost in keeping this open? In other words, if we pay half, there's a cost in keeping the remaining half open, which is interest. And so we
All
can
right, the
reduce
cost-
that by paying 2/3. And
Yeah.
my point is it worth it? Because the money, we can't use the money. I mean, it's just, hey, it's sitting
Right.
there,
So
so.
we're not gonna get it paid off really early because we got to pay monthly. So it's gonna
But the interest can
continue.
get down to minimum. We're averaging $650 right now, I'm just gonna say, a payment, 70 to 75 in interest. $1.50 times whatever houses have not been paid off yet, and that usually runs, help me out, I think it was $146 last time or something. So we're paying $146 to them,
And 700.
and if we get it paid off, or at least down to the minimum
You're
amount,
reducing it.
we're
Well,
still
we're
got,
not reducing their costs because we're not paying, because each homeowner is not reducing it, so we're reducing everything but their costs.
everybody that has paid theirs off, she doesn't charge us.
Correct.
So, like me, I pay $19 a month towards it. I mean, not 19 a month, for it. So I built up a balance. So I don't have that much left to
All
pay.
right, all right, if we want to compromise and split the difference, how about 7,000? I don't want to table this, I mean, I really don't want to kick this can down.
That's why I was asking for numbers where we can meet in the middle.
So we're keeping 7,000,
So he wants to pay 7,000 and keep the remainder in the
that's
bank.
that was fine.
And then whatever's left
No.
sitting that they haven't applied yet. There's still money that hasn't been credited to the account yet, that's what I'm saying.
Listen,
No,
this thing's supposed to go to
7,000 is wrong.
2027.
Right.
I would agree if we could come to a compromise to pay $7,000.
I will make a motion that we pay $7,000.
I
All
second.
agree? Alright. So Tiffany, would you make arrangements to transfer $7,000?
That we was 5,000 in the account instead of the 6,000, that's all.
Tonight, I'm gonna go home and put a candle for President Obama, I can look at the
I feel like we just did a car dealership.
I'll deliver your cars tomorrow. Okay, now. Linda wanted to see discussion replace lighting at Madeline and Saul's entrances. So I'll turn it over to Linda.
Well, I just wanted to see if we're having an issue with the lights. The lights are dim. You can't get them on. You can't get them working. They need to be replaced probably with a lower voltage light, the LED lights. And rewired somehow. I don't know how to do it, but we need to think about replacing that. I know we have to keep the ones on the columns done, but those are getting broken pretty bad, they need to be painted or replaced. I'm not sure if they're all metal or not, they're turning white, some of them. Going down at the salts, the top blue off, trying to get it.
And I had the scrap on. Okay, can I jump in? All right, I think we all would agree we need to do something with the lights. The median lights at Madeline they've whizzed out their life. They're not worth continuing to fix. What I would like to ask is for the board to approve for me to get 3 estimates. Okay, so estimates, and then would we want to, and I'm talking about with the low voltage landscape lighting, would we want to do Madeline and Saul's all at one time, depending on the estimates? I know you can't really make that decision. Or do we want to do the median at Madeline and then worry with the column lights? Okay, now, let me finish my thoughts. Keep in mind, I'm just being devil's advocate here. Keep in mind that the brick columns, the lights on both, we have to maintain and fix. The island at Madeline, we can change and do what we want, but then we have to maintain it. So we don't have to put 12 lights in there, or spotlights and all that. We can get ideas from the landscapers to bring to the board. So I guess my question would be, there's no question we need to do something with the lights. Do we want to do it in phases? Or which I want to get estimates, and I want to get estimates with this and without that, in phasing, or all at once and bring to you guys. And I don't think we should touch it until after January.
I agree with that.
Okay?
I would like to see an estimate for new lights in the island, because that's very hard to see when you're coming around the corner and trying to turn in. The lights on the columns are working, they're just not looking good.
Right, they need to be replaced.
Yeah, but they're still working. Right now, the lights on the island are not working as well. And to me, that's an issue. So I would like to see that.
I think what we should do right now is, I'll make a motion to authorize our president to get estimates and come back with a report, and we can make a decision. Yeah.
This is, a thought that I should have brought up before, but we also need to get some estimates on the bigger debris that's left in the community that needs to be cut up and hauled away
Yeah,
with
I'm
some
gonna do
tree
that.
services.
Yeah.
But I just thought I'd
I
mention, I
was
just
gonna
thought
let
about
everybody
it
know,
now.
I got some pictures of some. Have you seen let's finish this first. I don't like jumping around like that. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get 3 estimates. I'm gonna get at
Well,
least,
it hasn't been seconded, so you have the authority.
no, I'm just like buttoning this down and then,
Okay.
okay. So I'm gonna get 3 estimates, and I'm gonna get it on the island, the median, and then I'm gonna get it on all the lights in both entrances. And we can decide to do it all at once or separate, of course, depending on price and how long we'd have to save our money for it, okay? Now we can go with
Well, I have a motion to authorize the
I'll
president to
second
go
it.
ahead with the estimate.
all the, yeah.
I agree, yeah.
All right.
All right, so I'll do that. And then, BrightView Repairs. I'm just bouncing this off you guys. I'm not, just for your information, that's all this is. She got me they're asking for approval for repairs, BrightView, on the irrigation. Something that caught my eye immediately was $140.70 for a rain sensor. We just replaced all those
We
sensors.
replaced 2 out of the 3.
No, there's 3.
We replaced 2 of them. That's the third one. that
We have 3.
Yes, and that one is the third one.
No, there's 3 right now.
There is. We put 2 in. We had one that wasn't doing anything. So when we did the first repair, it was, or the first thing, it was doing 2, and we had the third one.
You got me confused because
When
let
we
me go. I went today and looked at all 3. They all 3 look exactly the same. They all 3 look new.
Yep.
So I
Well,
don't
the one
understand
we
what you're
had-
saying.
Let me go back and look. The one we had, when he first did it, he put in 2 rain sensors. And they're the Rainbird rain sensors, and he put, with the one he didn't have to, it worked, it was fine when he did the 2.
Then why is there one just like the other 2 there?
Because they're the same thing, they're what we had.
No.
So, yeah,
No. No.
I'm gonna give, he only replaced 2 of them, he put in 2.
I'm telling you, I've never seen any rain gauges like these new ones. I've seen old broken down rotted ones and some that weren't there. And we'll have to go back and look at the invoices, because I'm saying that he's wanting to, I guess he wants to install a rain sensor. We have 3 rain sensors, and they all look exactly the same, and they all look brand new. Okay? That's why I want to talk to him.
Well, what is he claiming, they're broke, or what?
One.
Well, he wants us to approve repairs from his inspection report. He wants to work or repair a wireless rain sensor only. So that means the little thing that sticks up.
Mhm.
And he wants us to pay him $140.70. So I went around today at all 3 locations. All 3 locations have rain sensors that look exactly the same, and they're all new. I don't know if you know which rain sensor he's talking about. Can you tell from this form? Because I thought it was Madeline, but
That's, I can't tell what that is. If that's, because that tells you where it is. If it's at Madeline, it's 1, clock 2, so this is 1, 2.
so this is Madeline?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And we needed, and that's 3. We
Okay,
needed
so
them
he
in there.
should have it on here. He's got a broken sensor at Madeline. And I know this is gonna end up being Saul's, so, but I'm just gonna wait to see. Okay, here it says that this clock 1, that's 1, right?
Mhm.
He's got here weather sensor not working. Okay,
This is what he did. This was the report that when he repaired in February, it did not need the rain sensor in that one.
So I have an invoice from,
this says clock 1, you're saying that's Madeline.
Yep.
He says the weather sensor is not working. It's a brand new sensor. What I found is, I don't see how in the world Saul's was working. I can show you a picture. It was upside down and twisted, and it's an example of very, very poor workmanship.
So here,
I'll show you.
I have an invoice from April
you put it
that
in.
shows that there were 3 wireless rain sensors installed. They charged us for 3 of
I
them.
knew there was, yeah. That's what Saul's looks like.
Cause I only have one, I have it on clock 2.
You see it's
and
upside
clock 3.
down, and the bracket is twisted, okay? That's very poor installation. And that's why I wanna talk to him. Now, here's how they're supposed to look. okay? So I just assumed it was Saul's that wasn't working. That's why I wanted to bring this up. But you're telling me he's saying it's Madeline. My question would be, how come Saul's is working and you need to go over there and fix that, is what I'm gonna tell him to do. Because it's about to just fall
Well,
apart.
she said, and we've paid for 3, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it
there's
shows
a big
it's
discrepancy.
It's not on.
All right, but he's
it's
asking to repair it for 140.
February.
Do you have on there how much the ring sensor was?
Yeah, there was 3 of them at $175 each.
Okay, so
We're
he's,
talking about 2 different invoices though.
yeah, but he's saying he wants
February.
$140.70,
That's when he
so
paid him.
that's pretty close to what they originally charged us.
And this date was after the
Yeah,
thing
that's
that
what I'm
Linda
saying,
has.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Well,
she
that's
has
'cause
a
we
proposal.
Proposed
I
in
have the
February,
invoice,
And we paid it,
what we
got the
paid.
work done and paid.
We paid for 3, $525
Right,
altogether.
But it's not
that's
on
when
each-
we first got
it's
him
not
and
on
we
the
had to
proposals.
do all that. So, do you know, what's the date on that?
April.
It was 4/19/22 was the invoice
We
date.
should give
But
with us,
it was February
should give with us
20th that
7%.
he inspected them, and then we waited till the March meeting,
Mhm.
approved it, and they did the work then. But on these, it was not put that there
All
was
right,
3.
so, let's get back to the point here. We bought 3 sensors,
Mhm.
and 3 sensors are there. And I took pictures of all 3 sensors. 2 look great, the one at Saul's is upside down and twisted. I looked at it, the little bracket's not tightened up, the little sensor that sits on top is just loose as it can be. It's poor workmanship, so I just assumed it was that one.
This is a
but-
different guy.
I don't care. So, I've called Carlos 3 times, left 3 messages, no return calls. I called Linda today, Chad, she said contact Chad. I'm not sure if I called the right number, but it was a voicemail, I've heard nothing. So, I was gonna ask you, do you have a contact for somebody in that company that speaks English and will answer the phone?
Chad would be my only contact. I have a phone number and an email for him.
Give me both if you don't mind.
The phone number I have is 407-669-3957. And his email is chad.wood@brightview.com.
And you think he's still there?
He's a business, yeah, he's like big in the company.
Okay, because she said some of them had left.
Well, the guy, see Lewis is doing the sprinkler right now, he's signing his paper. Lewis.
Yeah, I don't know
And it
who
was-
any of these
and
people
it
are.
was
So, is that one of the,
Don is the one who I dealt with the sprinklers.
is he one that comes
I
around
think
every week?
he's the one not there anymore.
Okay, so, let me finish here. All right, also, they want to charge us for a sprinkler head $67.41, which is outrageous. I want to get estimates from other people to replace sprinklers. I know that it has been suggested that, well, you should use the people you're using, but come on. I can't remember exactly, but I got an invoice at the house. The guy, when we replaced the pump at Saul's, and he also replaced some heads, it was either $22 or $27. So, I think I should check around and see if I can get it cheaper. Would you people agree with that?
Most of these companies will put like a 20 to 30% increase on it so that they make money off the parts.
I know, but that's, you know, the parts are like $4.
Mm-hmm.
$70 is outrageous
Oh, I agree with you.
to me.
I agree with you.
I mean, if the board decides that's okay, but I think we should get estimates on somebody to replace heads. There's little flags everywhere, but he only wants to repair one.
I don't understand, because a lot of the flags that I'm seeing this time again, it seems like they just replaced those.
He has not done anything, he came in September, he come once a quarter. to check those.
But I'm saying
So
the
it'd be
ones
like
the
this.
flags are at are like ones I know we've already replaced.
Yeah, but we didn't, once they did the work, they didn't take them down, it's up to us to take them down if we did or
No,
didn't.
they were gone. The
Were they?
flags were gone.
Okay.
And now they're back up. And the thing is where a lot of these heads are, I don't believe that people are breaking them. If you really watch them, a lot of how they zoom and carry on and spin, and I believe their contractors are
Well, I
breaking
asked him
them.
about that, and he said they're supposed to come to him and tell him if they broke it.
Yeah,
I
right.
said, well, obviously that's not happening.
Right. No.
Okay, well, I thought if I ever got anybody to meet me, that I would bring that up, because you had mentioned it to me before, so I had that already on my mind, but, yeah, there's flags. I see flags everywhere,
Yeah.
but there's only one. Of course, this is back in September now. So, my opinion is, they're really, well, you know,
We're getting
second
enough,
thing, just so you guys, go ahead. I'm
we're
sorry.
getting enough rain right now that I think that we would be okay with watering. I mean, if one or two little sprinkler heads weren't working correctly, but what does the rain gauge do? Does that affect our sprinkler
We
system
needed
coming
that.
on?
We needed that because that's what it does, and you needed to have it legally for them to do any work in our development.
Right, and if we need to question the third one that they're wanting to replace and find
Right.
out what's, you know,
Well-
the situation with that too. We still need to ask them.
The,
Yeah.
if the rain sensor's broke,
It hasn't even been a year, they should fix it.
and the sprinkler's still working,
5 months.
I'm not in a hurry to run and pay $140 until I talk to the guy and he can convince us.
Yeah.
Because how do we know it doesn't work? I don't know how they check it.
Well, they need to fix it, even if it doesn't work, because they're the ones.
Well, I'm not
that
gonna
said-
pay them $140.70 just because they feel like putting it on there. I want them to tell me why and how it's broke.
Yeah.
I do know that there are little pin pads attached to each one. It's, I guess, timers and days and all that stuff. I don't know if maybe that's what he wants to replace or what. But if he's checking this stuff, why hasn't he caught Saul's?
Well, that may have happened during the storm.
Could be, but I'm telling you, it's like, you saw the pictures of the good ones, but I can pick that up. And first of all, it's got one screw that's not even pulled down, and so the bracket's doing this. And then the sensor is all loose inside. It's got teeth and all that come down and catch like that. It's out of that. It's upside down and sideways. And maybe they still work, but that's,
Well, maybe
I'm gonna
it
show the
doesn't-
guy it was shoddy work.
It might not work now, maybe it got damaged in the storm, and
Could
maybe
be.
it doesn't work now.
Could be, but the rest are firm and tight.
And if
That's
it's not
what I'm saying.
working, he needs to fix it.
Okay.
If she's already paid for the grade, then we need to fix it. He needs to
Well, I
fix
need
it.
to get somebody to talk to. All right, that was it. I told you about the debris removal, and
Now, what did we have, that's the company, you said there was more that had to be done. To be removed.
what? I told you, we signed the form
Yeah,
that.
but I thought you said there was more things we had to go out and move.
Oh, well, at Saul's entrance, the tree, got several limbs down. I didn't know until today when I went over there to look at the thing. One limb is this big around, like a tree. And there's several there. And then there's a palm tree. I can't give you the address right now. I can get it together.
It's in the back beside that.
No, it's in the back of Country Walk. The palm tree fell, and the rest of the tree has to be cut down. And then, there's a tree,
There's a big branch off Saul's, but then there's a plum that's laying on the ground in the back of Saddleback.
that,
And some other things that need to be cut.
and then at Madeline, the park there's a little tree down. It needs to be cut up, and there is some debris in that little spot right there. But that's another thing. I'd like to mention. I don't believe the park has been cut in quite a while. Right there where the wrought iron and all is at, they're cutting that very nicely. You go over the fence to the park, to the sidewalks and all are, they don't look like they've been cut apart a
They
lot.
had a new team leader the last two, I don't know, August, maybe it was, I don't know, August, they had a new team leader, and he was up north, I haven't really been in touch with him. I talked to him once, he definitely wants to do this. And so, I couldn't tell him what he was got to do, if it was a new team leader, and this supposed to have some form of English speaking, but it's not. And then, I don't know, I was gonna call Carlos, but I don't know,
So you know they haven't been cut.
I texted him, and I gave him addresses of where things were being cut and stuff, yeah.
So you were aware that they weren't cut.
I talked to him.
So my thinking is that I'm gonna meet this guy and I'm gonna point out this stuff, and I got some pictures and all this, and they're doing, as far as I can tell, they're doing good on the median and where the wrought iron is, and the saws, but they haven't been cutting on the other side of the wrought iron at saws either. Or if they have, I haven't even seen them lately. And they usually park right in front of my house.
Who was their last week? I thought last
They're
week.
probably on the every other week now, right, 'cause it's past
But,
October.
no, they're supposed to be here, even if they didn't know every other week, they're supposed to be here that other week.
Could you
And
clean up?
Yes. And they
Anyway,
need, they're due to
looks like
cut
real
trees.
shoddy work right now.
They're due to cut trees, and the tree trim up to 8 feet, that's on the project, you're supposed to do that once a year too. So there's some lake around the lake that needs to be lifted up.
And we can't use, in my opinion, we cannot use them to clean up the trees and stuff. General labor, $65 an hour per man, minimum of 4. Tree trimming, $150 per hour per man, minimum of 4. If they get a bucket truck or a loader or a backhoe, you're talking 250, 150, to be determined, can't afford it.
Tree work, the cheapest I found was at S&B Tree Service, and they were a little over in the, on Brian Hay development. So he was the cheapest, he said he'd give us a deal because we are so local, he was always the cheapest. Yes.
Okay, so, you know, the documents have get that something, or are we gonna just continue? I know we've been using S&D without getting that way.
No, I think S&D should be included in the estimate.
Okay,
Every estimate.
so you want 3 estimates? Okay. My next question would be, when can I get all the stuff you have? That you were given from Pam? And if you would please, give me any contact forms you have on anybody. I got some cards and all the stuff that I called, but I don't know who you've been called. If anybody.
The estimates, I did put together estimate. Another company, there's one other company, but the other one didn't give me really formal, I don't know what this is, but, again, I presented it to him, it was not.
Okay, so I'll work on that stuff and report back to you guys. And then last but not least, the owner's forum, and we have an owner that would like to speak. Mr. Bianca. Then,
I would like to make a motion for the.
second.